Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Beta Change Minisode. So today we are joined by Danielle, the minds behind Color Me Glucose. I'm Pei Yan, member of the Change team, and let us welcome Danielle. Danielle, would you like to give us a short introduction?
Hi, you guys. You all know me. I'm Danielle from Color Me Glucose. Color Me Glucose is a passion, and she's here, and that's me to help you guys out, give you my knowledge, ask questions, participate in different functions if I can. Just learn more about diabetes and have fun doing it. It doesn't have to be a bad thing, and that's pretty much about it.
So, to our audience who are joining in, feel free to join in the discussion through our live Facebook video. You can just put in a comment and we'll be able to see it and we can flesh it out. And yeah, so keep the discussion coming in and keep the questions or comments coming in. So, Danielle, could you tell us or share with us a bit more about your diabetes journey? So where did it start and where are you now today?
When I first started, as I was discussing with Pei Yan earlier, diabetes just wasn't something I knew about. You hear about cancer, you hear about fibromyalgia, you hear about everybody else's things, but you don't really hear. At the one point in time when we were younger, probably back in the 20s and younger, diabetes wasn't a major thing. People didn't really know about it. It's gotten better. My journey's gotten better, but when I first was diagnosed in 2011, I thought it was just a sickness. I thought it was something I could take some medicine for and get over it and go home. And they were like, yeah, that's not going to work like that. You've got to go to classes. You've got to do this. You've got to change that. I probably totally freaked out. So it took me a very, very, very long time to get to the point where I'm at now. And the only reason why I'm where I'm at now is because of the diabetes community. People asking me questions, me, myself doing the research and getting involved and just trying to figure out where I wanted to be at and if I wanted to let this be a hindrance or if I wanted to make it a positivity. And I decided to make it a positive, fun situation because it doesn't have to suck. You just have to learn how to make yourself get through it better.
Yeah. So, I guess everybody has got different experiences, and their own way of having their diabetes journey started. So, could you share with us a bit more about how how did you actually start Color Me Glucose? Like what inspired you?
I was sitting at my house one day and I was a previous ambassador for another group. And I was talking to some people in the chat room actually. And they were like, Danielle, you always chime in. You always give us a bunch of stuff. You always give us really good advice. You always talk to us about things. You always try to keep things positive. And you do participate in a lot of different groups and you're making videos and stuff. Why don't you physically switch your regular videos over to diabetic videos, learning videos? How do you do this? Your tips and tricks, things like that. And why don't you come up with a whole new platform? And I'm like, what do you guys mean? I don't know why I wasn't thinking this way. And I'm like, what do you mean come up with a new platform? And they were like, well, take yourself and turn yourself into like, not an animated character, but turn yourself into more of an outgoing diabetic person, an ambassador, an advocate. So that's what I decided to do. And I was sitting there and the word glucose kept popping in my head. And I'm like, okay, glucose. What would be a good name or a good portion to go with glucose? Should glucose come at the end because it's always there? Or should it come at the beginning? Or should it even be in what the name is that I'm going to come up with? And I had to think about it. I came up with probably 50 different names. And I was like, okay, I could do something off of what I like. I could do something off of what I use. And then I'm like, you know what? I love colors. I love the rainbow. So Color Me, and I've always colored as a kid, coloring, and I'm always doodling, and I have a planner, and I always color with that, and I use stickers, and I'm always swapping with people, and I'm like, you know what? That's me. So Color Me Glucose is how it ended up being. And that wasn't even one of the names on the list, which was the funny thing. It just happened to pop up with color, and then it's me, and then glucose, because diabetes is a melting pot full of different colors, different people, different generations, different societies. It's not one thing. So I figured, why not make it, not only is it catchy, it's cute, but it just described me and everybody that I'm interacting with every day. So that's how I came up with Color Me Glucose.
It's really a very interesting story about how your name, how Color Me Glucose comes about. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure like everybody has their own story to tell of how the name comes about. And likewise for Vida Change, we do also have an interesting story about how we actually create how do we came up with the name Vida Change, but that's another story for another time to share. So Ashley has a question. So she mentioned that diabetes community helped her, and how she wanted to know how did diabetes community help you along your journey.
Well, Ashley, you know what? Diabetes helped me on my journey because before my mom was diagnosed with her diabetes recently, and we didn't realize she had it too, I was the only one in the family who had it. And it was hard. It's still hard some days because people don't always understand you. You may not look sick all the time, and you may look totally healthy, but then you have to pop out all these glucose meters and all these test strips and everything else. And they're like, what's going on with you? And I'm like, I needed a place where I could feel by myself, but not alone, and feel happy. And the diabetes communities took me out of, I get depressed just like anybody else with diabetes. And if people tell you they don't ever get depressed with diabetes, they're lying. I'm just going to tell you, it's one of those things. They may not be willing to talk about it, but those communities are a plethora of help. They can help you out so much. You would be totally shocked at how much they can help you if you just let them. I've had everybody from doctors in the communities helping me to, even little kids. I've learned so many things from little kids and their diabetes. It's scary, and they don't look at it the way we do. And they don't look at it, oh, it's another needle. Oh, I got to take another prick. It's another day of life for them that they wouldn't normally have because their pancreas decided it was going to take a vacation, or their pancreas is barely working enough for them to live off of because they have to take the insulin, or they have to take constant shots. It's a way of having a family that's outside of your regular family. That is always going to be there, is never going to judge you because you have diabetes. So that's how they've helped me out. They made me feel like a family.
Yeah, but I guess younger ones, they have more experience, or those who grew up since they were diagnosed when they were young, they kind of grew up with more experiences and stories that they can share. So that links to the next question that I'm going to ask you. So what do you think is missing from the diabetes space, or from conversations about diabetes?
I think pretty much is missing is the negativity. Sometimes I think the negativity could be used as a positive to help people. And I know people will think that's weird that I say that, because if we take all the times that we have to pay a lot of money for insulin or little money for insulin, or we have to insert another insulin pump cartridge into the pump, if we take all those negatives of having to spend all that money on something that we have to have and turn it into a positive and say, you know what? Yeah, I have to spend this money. Maybe I can't go get this other video game, or I can't buy this really new cool expensive phone, but I have something that's going to help me live. And then with this device, I can not only just use it to help me out, I can also help share it with somebody else and tell them, hey, this is something that technology has come up with, and technology is they're getting better. The experiences that I have seen with the different technology that's coming out for diabetes is such a game changer. It's scary. I mean, it's crazy. I don't even know how to explain it some days, but I'm a total techie. I love anything to do with technology. And if we can keep going with stuff like that and keep making it so that people, even if they don't have the money, can get a hold of that technology to help their diabetes, I think we'll make it that piece that's missing and put it so that it's not missing anymore. We just need to make it so that it's available for everybody and not just for certain people because they have the money or they don't have the money to be able to buy it.
Yeah, that's a very good point, and we also believe strongly that everybody should have access to, the technology or the basic equipment for managing diabetes, regardless of where they are or regardless of what their financial situation is. And we hope that everyone around the world can help to chip in and to help people who are less fortunate to kind of afford these technologies or basic necessities. Yeah. So moving on, what advice would you give to other people with diabetes looking to connect with a community or who wants to start their own community?
The advice I give them is don't be afraid, because it took me a while and some of it was fear before I decided to start this journey, because I was like, okay, I'm busy, or we say in our life we're busy. We're taking our kids here, we're doing this, we're going to school, we're working, we're watching TV, we're reading books, we're playing video games. But technically speaking, do you really have to sit and spend that time watching television? Could you give an hour or two to a platform like social media or going to a care group or something like that to help somebody else out? Yeah, we can. If we consider how much time we spend on our social media and watching television and stuff, we probably could spend a lot of time helping somebody else out when it comes to things like this with diabetes. So I'm going to tell you, go for it. Don't let, even if it's just 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day that you have to devote to something like this, do it. That 5 or 10 minutes will make a difference in somebody else's life, even if you don't think it will. And I've had that where I'll be in a car. You guys, sometimes you'll see my Instagram, type 1 lifestyles, type 1 diabetes lifestyle videos. And I'll be sitting in my car with my kid, picking up my mom from work or something. And I'll sit there and I'll film a video. Optimize every little bit of time that you have when you're not doing something. When you're cooking something, if it has time, it has to wait, do a blog post. I've done that too before. Don't discredit what you think you don't have time to do just because you're worried and scared about physically taking this journey. I was scared. I took the journey and I've had so much fun. I really have. And I've been able to meet so many nice and just beautiful people. Just like Pei Yan, just because, Pei Yan, I'm so sorry, just because I took the time to go ahead and create Color Me Glucose. I was thinking nobody wants to hear what little old Danielle has to say, but I've been told otherwise. People want to hear everything I have to say, and I'm so honored and blessed, and it's amazing. It's an amazing thing. So I would tell you, go for it. I don't care what you think. Go for it. Even spend a couple of minutes a day. Go for it.
Yeah. So just when you think that nobody's watching, but actually there are lots of people who are looking at it.
Mm-hmm, that is true.
Yeah, that is true. So do you have like a fixed schedule, or when do you kind of monitor your social media things, or it's just on the go where you have time and pockets of time, you just pick it up and have a quick look?
Well, it used to be around my schedule. Like I said, I was told Pei Yan, I've been sick. I've been really ill, so I've had to take a hiatus on posting blogs and things like that. But now I'm trying to not let my other illnesses mess with my diabetes schedules and things like that. So I was sticking to at least one video post a month on YouTube. A week on YouTube. So sorry, I don't know where that came from. One video post a week on YouTube. And then I try to do Taking on Tuesdays, which is the type 1 diabetic series. And it's really just a diabetic series, period. T1D lifestyles that myself and Anita Brown do. Usually I do Tuesdays and she does Saturdays. So if we don't do it once a week, we do it every 2 weeks. So I try to do that. And then blog posts, like you said, I just do them whenever I feel like doing them. It's one of those spurts. If I'm up at 3 or 4 in the morning because I don't sleep well because of what's going on right now, I post. I'll get on my phone. Thank God for apps. Apps are like the blessing of all things. It's probably bad that I say that, but apps keep me from having to go to a computer, get on an iPad. I just jump on the app from my social media, from my website, and I'll just go and update it. So it's one of those things.
Yep. And also, like Ashley was commenting, like some people really like to lurk. So never ever underestimate the impact.
Yeah, I don't. I don't.
Yeah, and it's once you have it on social media, everything that people Google, it will appear somewhere along their search list. Yeah, so you leave a mark or a print in the world, in the internet, and it's there for people to look.
Yeah, that's always a good thing. It is.
Yeah. We have actually come to our last question already. And do you have any other things you want to say to our audience?
You guys, diabetes, don't look at it as a hindrance. I know a lot of people have it and they can't stand it. They don't want to deal with it or they're stressed from it. If you're stressed, get on these websites, get on the social media sites, talk to somebody about it. Seriously, because you know what? I don't know, and I was telling Pei Yan, I don't know anybody that doesn't go through depression with diabetes, and it's hard. Yes, it is hard, even for teens. There are so many good groups out there, like Beyond Type 1, Diabetic Sisters. I mean, you name it, they're out there. Get on them, make some friends, get in the chats, and start helping each other out. That's the best way, and it's the cheapest way sometimes to not having to go, and it's not always about a drug or something. You don't always need meds. Sometimes it just helps to talk it out. So my thing is let's just keep this community strong. Let's keep helping each other out, making friends and diet buddies and telling our stories and just giving those tips and tricks. And I think diabetes eventually, hopefully one of these days we'll get a cure and it'll be a thing of the past.
Yep. Very good advice and conversation we have today. So if you have any comments or questions or anything, do continue to put in our video comment section, and we can pick it up from there, and Danielle can respond from there. So that's all we actually have for today's Minisode. If you would like to follow Danielle, you can find her on Facebook and Instagram at Color Me Glucose. Alternatively, her website is colormeglucose.com. And thank you for visiting our Minisode today, and thank you, Danielle, for being our guest for today's Minisode. Follow us on Vida Change at the Vida Change Network on Facebook, and you can also find us on Twitter at Vida_Change. We also have a YouTube channel called the Vida Change Network, so you can find our past videos on minisodes that we have done in before or available on our YouTube channel. So if you want, you can stay connected through our website, Facebook, or Twitter, and subscribe to keep being updated for what we have to offer from the Vida Change team. And so I'm Pei Yan, and today we have Danielle with us. So continue our discussions online and on Facebook, videos, comments, and that's all we have for you today.
Bye.